about cell history and its functions, right? And we are going to see about some components of the cell also. Yes, what is the first important component? Yeah, plasma membrane. Good, very good. So plasma membrane is nothing but, which means whatever the cells has go in and go out, they will be only the selective molecules should go in and go out. Yeah, so we are seeing the plasma membrane, how diffusion and osmosis will work in the plasma membrane, like that we are going to see. So from this class, we will starting about the second important component of nucleus. Okay, so nucleus is a topic we are going to see about the class today. So we are going to see how nucleus will work. Can anyone tell me what is nucleus? Any idea? Yes, very good. So it is the central part of the cell. It stores all our genetic information. Very good, ma. Clap your hands for the student. Okay. So let's move into the structure and function of nucleus. Okay. Okay. So nucleus is the very biggest organelle. So in the human body, 10 to 20% of the cell, the nucleus can occupy. Okay. And this is the double membrane organelle. Can you tell me? We are seeing one more organelle in the previous class. What is that? Yes, mitochondria. So mitochondria and nucleus, and one more thing, plastids. Plastids we'll see in the upcoming class. So just note it out. The three important organelles has a double membrane layer. So this is the MCQ type of question. So just note it in your notebook. One is mitochondria, another one is nucleus, and third one is plastid. So these three organelles are the double membrane organelle. Okay, so this all three organelles will store all our genetic materials, and protein synthesis, everything has been done in the nucleus area. Okay, and this nucleus having a cells, that is eukaryotes. So can you tell me? You see the basic definition of eukaryotes as well as prokaryotes. So what is eukaryotes? Yes, very good. Eukaryotes is a multicellular organisms. And what is prokaryotes? This is the single cell, that is unicellular organism. So in the nucleus is a Latin word that is present in the center part. Imagine there is a seed. What is the center? Imagine there is a fruit. What is the center part? Yes, the seed is present. Similarly, nucleus is also present in the center part. Okay. Okay. So discovery of nucleus. So this Robert Brown, you see the image of Robert Brown. So this scientist discovered that nucleus in the year of 1831. He discovered. Okay. So for his discovery, he is using a microscope. That is, nowadays we are using a compound microscope and electron microscope. So in that era, 1831, they don't have that much type of microscope. That is a very simple type. Along with the one lens is there. So they don't have different magnifications of lenses. Okay. So they are using a basic dye by the name chromatin. Okay. So with the help of Fleming, he collected this dye and he visualized the nucleus is present or not, like that. Okay. So this cell have only one nucleus. And there are some examples I will give. So mammalian red blood cells. So in our human beings, in the especially red blood cells, they doesn't have enough amount of nucleus. Can anyone tell why mammalian red blood cell have enough amount of nucleus? Any idea? Yes, somewhat similar. Can you guess it correctly? Yeah. So because why that mammalian red blood cell have a lack of nucleus means they does not undergo cell division. Okay. And what is the pigment present in our human blood? Yes, that is hemoglobin. Very good. So hemoglobin has an oxygen rich transportation will occur in the body. So it doesn't undergo the cell division. So that's why that they are lacking the mammalian red blood cells. As well as in plants, that seed tube cells. Where is seed tube cells present? Is it present in xylem or phloem? Yeah, phloem is the correct answer. So phloem is specially for the food, all the food materials are transported to the phloem. So that's why they are lacking the nucleus. Okay. Okay, so next we are going to see about the position. So nucleus is present, we already told you it is present in the center part. Everyone have this much idea about it, right? So there are two types of cells, we know that. One is a plant cell, another one is the animal cell. Okay, so in the plant cells, a nucleus is present periphery, which means in the center part, this orange color part, that there is empty space is there. This region is the vacuole. So vacuoles are what? They all store the water molecules, iron, everything will be stored in the vacuole area. So at the periphery, that is somewhat similar to the middle. So at that area the nucleus is present. Okay, and whereas in the animal cell, it is exactly located in the middle of the cell. Okay, so this first layer is the nuclear membrane. Okay, and the second one is the nucleolus, and inside the nucleolus there is a fluid particles present in this. Okay, so this is the position of the cell. Okay, so this is the detailed structure of nucleus. Okay, so the cisternae we already studied in the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So the cisternae is the receiving phase. All your protein molecule will go in the help of cisternae. Okay, and there are two layers is present. One is the outer membrane, another one is the inner membrane. So and this part, this thread-like structure is a chromatid, and inside that this nucleolus is present. That dark blue is the nucleolus region, and outer one is the nuclear envelope. Okay, so there is that flower-like structure, that is the nuclear pore. All your protein molecules, enzymes will be transferred in the nuclear pores. Okay, and this is the detailed structure of nucleus. We are going to see one by one and what is the main function like that. Okay, so first we are going to see about the nuclear membrane. So the outer membrane will help to maintain the structure of nucleus. So without the outer membrane, no molecules can go. Okay, with the outer membrane, they maintain the structural support. Whereas the inner membrane, all your protein as well as the genes, water molecules, ions, everything will be transported into the inner membrane. Okay, so the space between that orange color is the outer membrane and the violet region is the inner membrane. So in between the outer membrane and the inner membrane, there is a space. Yeah, that space is called perinuclear space. Okay, so this perinuclear space is mandatory. Without the space, a nucleus can't function. Approximately 20 to 30% this perinuclear space is there. Okay, so with the help of this space, because you can see each and every area there is a gap. Okay, so in this gap, the all your molecules, proteins, everything will be transported into this. Okay, and next one is the nuclear pore complex. So nuclear pore complex is another important main function. So if the changes in the protein there is in the particular area, the nuclear pore will not allow, because if there is any change or any mutations can occur, it will affect some diseases. Later we will see on the diseases also along with the nucleus. Okay, so all your molecules will move in and move out with the help of nuclear pore complex. And this one is the DNA. Yeah, any idea what is the full form for DNA? Can anyone tell me? Yes, deoxy. Yeah. Okay, yes, somewhat similar, but it's wrong. No problem. I will help you out. So DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, so DNA is the powerhouse of the cell. So all your genes and genetic informations will be carried out by the DNA. Okay, and ribosome. What is ribosome? Yeah, good. Ribosome is the protein synthesis. All proteins they produce and they assemble where they has to go, where they will pack. They have to tell each and every organelle. So that is the ribosome. Okay, second important component is nucleoplasm. So this nucleoplasm is present inside the chromatid, similar to that. Okay, it is a fluid that similar to a gelatin. So you can have seen the gelatin, right? So it is a gelatinous liquid. So that will support the chromosome and the nucleoli. Yeah, what are the molecules they are supporting? They are supporting two important components. One is supporting the chromosome, another one it is supporting the nucleoli. Okay, so this nucleoplasm will maintain the shape Without this, the nucleus cannot maintain their shape. Okay, so they maintain the shape and they allow the molecules to move like that. Okay, so and next we move to the third component, that is chromatin. Okay, this chromatin is the very important concept. Just you have studied in the lower class itself. When you are dealing in the higher classes, or if in your if you are planning to take a science group in the college, this chromatin is a very important basic concept. Okay, so we are going to see about this chromatin. So imagine a thread. Okay, just imagine a thread. So that thread like a structure is a chromatin. Okay, so this thread like a structure along with some protein molecules will involve. Okay, so here this diagram will show about the chromatin, how the chromatin is converted into chromosome. Okay, so initially DNA. So we know that DNA is a double helix molecule. So this DNA is a double stranded molecule. Whenever it separates or it unwinds the helix, the nucleosome will attach to it. What is nucleosome? Yeah, so nucleosome is a protein. Nucleosome is a protein that will attach in the thread like a structure, that is a DNA. Okay, so nucleosome will attach to the DNA. So just note it out, DNA plus nucleosome. So nucleosome is nothing but they are binding proteins. Okay, and next one is a histone. Histones are linked proteins. So histones will help to link a DNA as well as the nucleosome. Okay, so totally histones have 8 number of proteins is there. Okay, so they are linker proteins. They are help to attach the nucleosome as well as the DNA. Okay, so imagine a very similar example in our day-to-day life. A jasmine flower. What your mothers do when you are coil the jasmine flower. Jasmine flower is the bead. The thread-like structure is the strand. Okay, so they are just using this two, like that it will connect it. So similarly, this histones and then DNA binding proteins like nucleosomes, all these are interconnected. Okay, and they formed a coil-like a structure. Approximately this coil-like a structure is exactly 300 nanometer. Okay, so this coil-like a structure will form and finally it will get a chromosome. Okay, so whenever the cell gets divided, at that time only chromatin is converted into chromosome. If the cell does not divide, the chromatin will be present as it is. Okay. Okay, so now we are seeing about the functions of nucleus. So nucleus plays the central role in cellular reproduction. So nucleus is a main important thing, is the cellular reproduction, and one more thing, DNA replication has been followed by the transcription, after the translation, and after that we are getting the proteins. Okay, so this control, and the nucleus is the one thing that will control and coordinate the various important activities of the cells also. Okay, so this contains the genetic information. So all your DNA and RNA molecules, everything will be stored inside the nucleus, and this is responsible for protein synthesis. And one important thing, so all your genes will be transferred, it will be inherited from your parents, right? So all your genetic information will be inherited from your parents to offspring. Offspring is for, who are offsprings? Yeah, exactly you. So who are all the next generation? That term is called as offspring. Okay. Okay. So next we are going to see about the diseases related to nucleus. Okay. Okay. So diseases related to nucleus, there are so many diseases. For today I want to discuss with you one important disease, that is the muscular dystrophy. Okay, so this is the X-linked recessive disorder. So muscular dystrophy is very simple, in the name itself you identified. Yeah, if your muscle is getting weaker or the less amount of protein you are intaking in your day-to-day life, at that time you are facing this muscular dystrophy diseases. This diseases is mainly happen in boys. Yeah. So you are asking why, ma'am, is it mainly happening in boys? Why it doesn't happen in girls? Yeah, because male that has a chromosome of 22 pair of chromosome. We know that in our human body we are having a 22 pair of chromosome, and one pair is denotes the sex chromosome. Yeah, so male having the chromosome of X and Y. So when the mother is carrying the child, okay, so the genes are transferred. So at that time, XY chromosome, they are receiving the diseases of this gene. When if it is a girl means they will act as a carrier, which means in this generation they won't cause a disease. If the girl is comes into the next future generation, she will act as a carrier, and the future generation maybe she will pass the disease to the child, like that. Okay, so mainly this disease will be transferred only in a boys. Okay, so here the protein, especially in your muscles in the protein, this will be a nuclear laminin proteins. So any change or if the mutation will be occurred in your muscle, at that time you are feeling this nuclear muscular disease. Okay, so it is a group of genetic disease that causes progressive weakness. So obviously your muscles get weakened, and all your thighs muscle, leg muscle, everything gets weakened. Okay, so this is the diagram, shows the healthy person carrying the proteins, that is a healthy region, the red color it denotes. Okay, if you see that if it takes a prolonged time, okay, after that if the protein amount intake or any change in the protein, especially any changes in that protein, nuclear pore complex, whenever the protein molecules will go into the nuclear pore complex, if there is a change, at that time the muscles get weakened. Okay, so this is the difference between the healthy person and the normal healthy person, as well as the diseased person of muscular dystrophy. Okay, so what are the topics we are going to see today? Yeah, we are seeing the nucleus, what is meant by nucleus, okay, and we are seeing the structure of nucleus. Okay, so I'll be asking some of the questions. You are going to answer one by one. Okay. Who discovered nucleus? Yes, anyone? Yeah, okay, good. Robert Brown, yes, good. Clap your hands. Yes. Next, second question. Mention any two structural component of nucleus. Good. Nucleoplasm, what is the another thing? Nucleolus, yes, very good. What diseases are caused by the nucleus? We are seeing one disease. What is the disease name? Any idea? Yeah. Muscular dystrophy. Good. State any one function of nucleus. Okay. So nucleus will control all your genetic informations, and it control all the activities of the cells also. Yes, good. Very good. Okay, so you're all very active today. Just go to your home, just recall the session, like what we are going to see the topics today. What is nucleus, what is the structure, what is the function, everything. Okay, and one more thing, practice the diagram of nucleus. So this is the diagram I was mentioning. Okay, so this diagram, yeah, I have already drawn in your notebook, right? Just practice this diagram. Okay, just draw this diagram and check your notebooks tomorrow. Okay, so for the tomorrow's class, we are going to start the third component, that is a cytoplasm. Okay, okay, children, thank you.